The unexpected scholar. The sleek, iridescent shuttle pierced through the swirling nebula, its hull reflecting the cosmic dance of colors outside. Inside, Zora Martinez sat rigid in her seat, her dark eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. At just 17, she was about to become the first human to attend the Galactic Academy of Sciences, the most prestigious institution in the known universe. As the shuttle began its descent towards the Academy's home planet, Zora's mind raced through the events that had led her here. The discovery of alien life, the formation of the Galactic Alliance, and the subsequent interstellar exchange program. It all seemed like a dream. Yet here she was, light years from Earth, about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. The shuttle touched down with barely a whisper, its advanced technology a stark contrast to the clunky rockets of Earth's space program. As the doors hissed open, Zora took a deep breath, straightened her Earth Federation uniform, and stepped out into an alien world. The air was thinner than Earth's, with a slight metallic tang that tickled her nostrils. The gravity, too, was lighter, making each step feel like a small leap, but it was the sight before her that truly took her breath away. The Galactic Academy of Sciences sprawled across the horizon, a magnificent blend of organic architecture and advanced technology. Crystalline spires reached towards the stars, while holographic displays shimmered in the air, showcasing groundbreaking research from across the galaxy. As Zora made her way towards the central plaza, she couldn't help but notice the diverse array of alien life forms around her. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors moved about with purpose, their appendages, or lack thereof, manipulating devices beyond her comprehension. Some floated, some slithered, while others walked on various numbers of limbs. The cacophony of languages and communication methods was overwhelming, yet strangely beautiful. A tall, willowy figure approached Zora, its skin shimmering like liquid mercury. "Greetings, Zora Martinez of Earth," it said, its voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate within her mind. "I am Professor Xylos, your assigned mentor. Welcome to the Galactic Academy of Sciences." Zora bowed slightly, remembering her cultural sensitivity training. "Thank you, Professor Xylos. It's an honor to be here." As Tylos guided her through the Academy grounds, explaining the various facilities and departments, Zora's initial awe began to mingle with a growing sense of inadequacy. The level of scientific advancement on display was staggering. How could she, a simple human from a planet that had only recently achieved interstellar travel, hope to compete with beings who had been exploring the cosmos for millennia? Her fears were not unfounded. As they entered the grand lecture hall for the welcoming ceremony, Zora felt the weight of countless alien gazes upon her. Some were curious, others dismissive, and a few openly hostile. She heard whispers, or what passed for whispers among some species, questioning her presence. A human? Here? Surely this is some kind of joke. I heard their planet still burns fossil fuels. How quaint. This exchange program is nothing but a political gesture. She won't last a week. Zora's cheeks burned with embarrassment, but she held her head high. She had earned her place here, having bested thousands of other human applicants in rigorous tests of knowledge, creativity, and problem-solving. She wouldn't let their prejudice deter her. The welcoming ceremony was a blur of introductions, speeches in various languages, thankfully translated by her neural implant, and mind-bending displays of scientific prowess. When it was finally over, Zora found herself in her assigned living quarters, a modular pod that adjusted its environment to match Earth's atmosphere and gravity. As she unpacked her meager belongings, a soft chime announced a visitor. The door slid open to reveal a diminutive furry creature with large, luminous eyes. "Hello, Earth being," it chirped, blinking rapidly. "I am Skrek, your neighbor and fellow first-year student. I come from the methane swamps of Gliese 436 bits. May we engage in cultural exchange?" Zora couldn't help but smile at the alien's enthusiasm. "Of course, Skrek. I'm Zora. It's nice to meet you." For the next hour, Zara and Skrik swapped stories about their homeworlds, finding both startling differences and surprising similarities. As they talked, Zara felt some of her anxiety begin to ebb. Perhaps she wasn't as alone here as she had feared. The next morning, however, brought a harsh return to reality. Zara's first class was quantum chromodynamics, a subject she had only begun to grasp back on Earth. As the professor, a being that seemed to be made entirely of pulsating light, began the lecture, Zara realized with growing horror that she couldn't understand a word of it. The concepts were so advanced, so alien, that even her neural implant struggled to translate them into terms she could comprehend. She glanced around the room, hoping to see other confused faces, but found only rapt attention or bored indifference among her alien classmates. Clearly, this was elementary stuff for them. Zara's heart sank. Had she made a terrible mistake in coming here? As the day wore on, Zora's sense of displacement only grew. In xenobiology, she was the only student who needed a protective suit to handle the specimens. During the temporal mechanics practical, she was the last to complete the simple task of phase-shifting a quantum particle. Even in the cafeteria, she struggled to find anything remotely edible among the bizarre array of foods designed for myriad alien physiologies. By the time evening fell, Zara was exhausted, discouraged, and homesick. She sat on the roof of her dormitory, gazing up at the unfamiliar stars, fighting back tears. The enormity of her situation crashed down upon her. She was light years from home, surrounded by beings so advanced they might as well be gods, expected to compete in fields of study that her species had barely begun to explore. "You seem distressed, Zora Martinez of Earth," came a familiar humming voice. Professor Xylos settled beside her, its mercury-like form reflecting the starlight. "Are you finding your transition difficult?" Zara nodded, not trusting herself to speak without breaking down. "It is to be expected," Xylos continued. "You are the first of your kind here. The path of the pioneer is never easy." The alien's form rippled, perhaps its species equivalent of a sigh. "But let me share with you a secret, young one. We did not invite you here despite your humanity, but because of it." Zara looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" "Your species is young, yes. Your technology, primitive by our standards. But in all our eons of exploration, we have never encountered a species quite like humanity. Your adaptability, your creativity, your ability to think in ways that defy conventional logic. These are rare and precious traits in our ordered universe." Xylos gestured towards the academy below them. "We have accumulated vast knowledge, but in doing so, we have perhaps lost something vital. The ability to see with fresh eyes, to question what we believe to be unquestionable. That, Zora Martinez, is why you are here. Not to conform, but to challenge. Not to merely learn, but to teach us how to think differently." As Xylos's words sank in, Zara felt a spark of hope reignite within her. She wasn't here to compete on their terms, but to offer something uniquely human. Her struggle to understand their advanced concepts wasn't a weakness. It was an opportunity to approach problems from an entirely new perspective. With renewed determination, Zara turned to her mentor. "Thank you, Professor. I think I understand now. It won't be easy, but I'm ready for the challenge." Xylos's form brightened, a sign of approval. "That, young human, is precisely why you belong here. Rest now for tomorrow. Your real journey begins." As Zara made her way back to her quarters, her step was lighter, her spirits lifted. She had come to the Galactic Academy of Sciences, expecting to be awed by alien wonders. Instead, she was beginning to realize that humanity's greatest contribution to the universe might just be its unique way of looking at it. The stars above seemed to twinkle with possibility, and for the first time since her arrival, Zara felt truly excited about what the future might hold. Little did she know that her presence at the Academy was about to set in motion a chain of events that would change the course of galactic history. Breaking barriers. The following weeks at the Galactic Academy of Sciences were a whirlwind of challenges and discoveries for Zara. Each day brought new wonders and frustrations in equal measure. The advanced alien technology that permeated every aspect of Academy life was both awe-inspiring and daunting. Simple tasks like accessing the galactic database or using the matter replicators for daily needs often left Zara feeling like a cave dweller thrust into a world of science fiction. In her classes, Zara struggled to keep up with the pace and complexity of the material. The neural implant she had received upon arrival helped translate alien languages and concepts, but it couldn't bridge the vast gap in scientific knowledge between Earth and the rest of the galactic community. More than once, she found herself staying up late into the night, poring over introductory texts that her alien classmates had mastered as children. Yet, as the days passed, Zara began to notice something peculiar. While she often lagged behind in theoretical understanding, she excelled in practical applications and creative problem-solving. In a xenobiology lab, when tasked with finding a way to communicate with a newly discovered silicon-based life form, Zora's approach of using rhythmic vibrations, inspired by Earth's own extremophile organisms, yielded surprising results. Her alien classmates, used to relying on advanced technology, were taken aback by her unconventional but effective method. This pattern repeated itself across various disciplines. In quantum engineering, Zora's intuitive grasp of chaos theory led to an innovative solution for stabilizing wormholes. During an astroarchaeology seminar, her knowledge of Earth's ancient civilizations provided a fresh perspective on interpreting alien ruins. Professor Xylos, observing Zora's progress, nodded in quiet approval. "You see, young human," the mercurial being hummed one day after class, "your species' gift is not in knowing, but in wondering. You ask questions we have long forgotten to ask." Zara's unique approach didn't go unnoticed by her fellow students either. Skrik, her methane-breathing neighbor, became a close friend and study partner. The furry alien was fascinated by Zora's primitive but effective problem-solving skills and often sought her input on projects. However, not everyone at the Academy appreciated Zora's unorthodox methods. Professor Vorthax, a multi-limbed creature teaching advanced propulsion systems, seemed particularly disdainful of her presence. "Ms. Martinez," he would often say, his voice a grating screech, "while your creative attempts are amusing, they have no place in serious scientific discourse. Please try to remember you are no longer in your planet's rudimentary education system." Such dismissals stung, but they also fueled Zora's determination. She threw herself into her studies with renewed vigor, determined to prove that humanity had something valuable to offer the galactic scientific community. Her opportunity came sooner than expected. In a theoretical physics class, the discussion turned to a long-standing problem in the field of dark energy manipulation. For centuries, scientists had been trying to find a way to safely harness dark energy for practical applications, but the volatile nature of the substance had proven too unpredictable. As the professor, a gaseous being named Dr. Eros, explained the current theories, Zara found her mind wandering to something seemingly unrelated: the way schools of fish on Earth moved in perfect synchronization to avoid predators. An idea began to form. "Excuse me, Dr. Eros," Zara said, her heart pounding as all eyes in the class turned to her. "What if we're approaching this from the wrong angle? Instead of trying to contain dark energy, what if we designed a system that moves with it, like a school of fish?" A ripple of confusion passed through the class. Dr. Eros's gaseous form swirled in what Zora had learned to recognize as deep thought. "Elaborate, Ms. Martinez," the professor said, curiosity evident in their tone. Taking a deep breath, Zara stepped up to the holographic display at the front of the class. Using the unfamiliar controls, she clumsily but effectively sketched out her idea: a network of nanobots that would flow with the currents of dark energy, subtly guiding and shaping it rather than trying to force it into containment. As she explained her concept, drawing parallels to various natural phenomena on Earth, the initial skepticism in the room gave way to intense interest. Questions flew from all corners. some challenging, others building upon her idea. For the first time since her arrival, Zara felt truly in her element, her mind racing with possibilities as she engaged in a lively scientific debate with beings from across the galaxy. When the class ended, there was a buzz of excitement in the air. Dr. Eros drifted over to Zara, their gaseous form shimmering with what she hoped was approval. "Ms. Martinez, your proposal is unorthodox, to say the least, but it presents an intriguing new avenue of research. I would like you to develop this further, perhaps as a project for the upcoming Galactic Science Symposium." Zara's heart leaped. The Galactic Science Symposium was the most prestigious scientific event in the known universe. To even attend was an honor. To present would be beyond her wildest dreams. As word of Zara's innovative idea spread through the academy, she found herself at the center of attention. Some students sought her out, eager to collaborate and explore her human perspective. Others watched from a distance, reassessing their initial dismissal of the primitive Earthling. Not everyone was pleased with this turn of events, however. Professor Vorthax, upon hearing of Zara's potential symposium presentation, was livid. "This is absurd," he screeched during a faculty meeting. "We cannot allow our most sacred scientific traditions to be made a mockery of by a child from a backwater planet." The debate raged among the faculty, with some supporting Zara's fresh approach and others backing Vorthax's traditionalist stance. In the end, it was Professor Xylos who tipped the scales. "Colleagues," the mercurial being hummed, its form rippling with intensity, "are we not scientists? Is not the very essence of our calling to explore the unknown, to challenge our assumptions? If we cannot embrace new ideas, even those that make us uncomfortable, then we have failed in our duty to the pursuit of knowledge." With the faculty's tentative approval, Zara threw herself into her project with unbridled enthusiasm. She assembled a small team of like-minded students, including Skrek and a few others who had come to appreciate her unique perspective. Together, they worked tirelessly, combining Zara's intuitive, Earth-inspired ideas with the advanced scientific knowledge of her alien peers. The work was grueling, filled with setbacks and moments of doubt. There were times when Zara questioned whether she was in over her head, whether her human perspective was really anything more than naive fumbling in a field far beyond her comprehension. But each time she faltered, she remembered Professor Xylos's words about humanity's gift of wonder and pressed on. As the date of the symposium drew near, Zara and her team made a breakthrough. Their simulation showed that their dark energy manipulation system, inspired by the collective behavior of Earth's creatures, could potentially revolutionize fields from energy production to space travel. The implications were staggering. On the eve of the symposium, as Zara put the finishing touches on her presentation, she received an unexpected visitor. Professor Vorthax slithered into her lab, his multiple eyes fixed upon her with an unreadable expression. "Ms. Martinez," he began, his usual screech subdued. I have reviewed your work." He paused, seeming to struggle with his words. "While I still have reservations about your methods, I cannot deny the potential of your results. Your human perspective has yielded insights that we, in our long-established ways of thinking, might have overlooked." Zara stood in shocked silence as the professor continued. "I may have been hasty in my judgment of you and your species. For that, I offer my apologies. Regardless of the symposium's outcome, you have already contributed greatly to our scientific community by reminding us of the value of diverse viewpoints." As Professor Vorthax left, Zara felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She had come to the Galactic Academy of Sciences feeling like an imposter, a primitive being among the stars. Now, on the cusp of potentially changing the course of galactic scientific research, she realized that she had found her place. Humanity, with all its flaws and limitations, had something unique and valuable to offer the universe. With renewed confidence, Zara turned back to her work. Tomorrow, she would stand before the greatest scientific minds in the galaxy and show them what a curious human from Earth could do. Whatever the outcome, she knew that this was just the beginning of humanity's journey among the stars. As the first light of an alien dawn crept through her window, Zora allowed herself a small smile. The universe, she realized, was far more wonderful and full of possibilities than she had ever imagined. And she, a girl from Earth, was about to leave her mark upon it. The human touch. The Galactic Science Symposium was unlike anything Zora had ever experienced. Held in a vast, crystalline structure that seemed to float in the void of space itself, the event drew brilliant minds from across the known universe. As Zara made her way through the bustling crowds, she marveled at the diversity of life forms around her. Beings of pure energy debated with silicon-based life forms, while creatures that defied description shared groundbreaking discoveries through methods that pushed the boundaries of communication itself. Zara's heart raced as she approached the presentation chamber. Her team, Skrik, a towering plant-like being named Floxy, and a collective consciousness of microscopic organisms calling itself Unity, stood by her side, offering silent support. As they entered the chamber, Zara gasped. The room was a perfect sphere, with the audience seated, or hovering, or existing in whatever state was natural for their species, around the circumference. In the center, a holographic projection system awaited, ready to bring their ideas to life on a cosmic scale. As Zara began her presentation, she felt a moment of panic. The eyes, or sensory organs, of the greatest scientific minds in the galaxy were upon her. But then she remembered why she was here, not just to present an idea, but to represent humanity's unique perspective. With a deep breath, she launched into her explanation. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "For centuries, we've approached dark energy as a force to be contained and controlled. Today, we propose a paradigm shift, a system that works in harmony with dark energy, inspired by the natural world of Earth." As she spoke, the holographic display came to life, showing simulations of their dark energy manipulation system. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the audience as they witnessed the elegant simplicity of the design. Zara explained how the system, mimicking the collective behavior of fish schools and bird flocks, could adapt to the unpredictable fluctuations of dark energy, guiding and shaping it rather than fighting against it. The implications were staggering. If successful, their system could revolutionize space travel, making faster-than-light travel more efficient and safer. It could lead to new forms of clean energy production, solve long-standing problems in matter-antimatter reactions, and open up new frontiers in dimensional research. As Zara concluded her presentation, the chamber erupted in a cacophony of excitement. Questions poured in from all directions, some skeptical, others building upon the ideas presented. Zara and her team fielded them all, their diverse backgrounds allowing them to address concerns from multiple angles. Just as the discussion was reaching its peak, an urgent message interrupted the proceedings. A hush fell over the chamber as a holographic projection of a high-ranking Galactic Alliance official appeared in the center. "We apologize for the interruption," the official said, their voice grave. "But we face a crisis that requires immediate attention. A surge in dark energy levels has been detected in the Andromeda galaxy. If left unchecked, it could lead to the collapse of several star systems, potentially triggering a chain reaction that could destabilize a significant portion of the galaxy." The chamber erupted in worried discussions. Such a crisis was unprecedented, and the potential for catastrophic loss of life was immense. The official continued, "We need solutions, and we need them fast. Any ideas, no matter how theoretical, could be crucial." Without hesitation, Zara stepped forward. "Sir," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos, "I believe our team's research might be relevant to this situation." All eyes turned to her. The official looked skeptical, but nodded for her to continue. Zara quickly explained their dark energy manipulation system, emphasizing its adaptive nature and potential for large-scale application. "It's untested on such a scale," she admitted, "but the principles should hold. If we can deploy a network of these nanobots in the affected areas, we might be able to disperse the dark energy surge, preventing the collapse. The chamber was silent for a moment, then erupted in a flurry of activity. Scientists from various disciplines began to chime in, seeing the potential in Zora's idea and building upon it. The Galactic Alliance official looked overwhelmed but hopeful. "Ms. Martinez, is it?" the official said. "Your idea sounds promising, but as you said, it's untested. We can't afford any mistakes with so much at stake." Professor Xylos glided forward, its mercurial form shimmering with intensity. "With all due respect, we can't afford not to try. This crisis defies our conventional approaches. Zara's human perspective, combined with our advanced technology, might be exactly what we need." The next few hours were a blur of activity. The symposium transformed into an emergency think tank, with scientists from across the galaxy working together to refine and implement Zora's idea. Her team was at the center of it all, coordinating efforts and making rapid adjustments to their designs. As the work progressed, Zara found herself in awe of the collaborative spirit around her. Species that had been at odds for millennia worked side by side, united by the common goal of averting disaster. It was a powerful reminder of what could be achieved when diverse minds came together. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of calculations, simulations, and heated debates, a plan was formed. A fleet of ships, equipped with specially designed nanobot dispensers, would be dispatched to the affected areas in the Andromeda galaxy. The nanobots, programmed with Zora's adaptive algorithms, would be deployed to interact with the dark energy surge, guiding it away from populated systems and dispersing it harmlessly into the intergalactic void. As the fleet prepared for departure, Zara and her team were summoned to the command ship. The Galactic Alliance official who had delivered the news of the crisis met them at the docking bay. "We're taking a massive risk here," the official said, their multiple eyes blinking rapidly in what Zara had learned to recognize as a sign of stress. "But your idea represents our best hope. We want you on board to oversee the operation." Zara felt a mix of excitement and terror. She looked at her team, seeing the same emotions reflected in their alien faces. This was far beyond anything they had anticipated when they started their research project. The fate of countless lives now rested, at least in part, on their shoulders. As they boarded the command ship, Zara caught sight of Earth on one of the long-range scanners, a tiny blue marble, impossibly far away. She thought of her family, her friends, all those who had supported her journey to the stars. They had no idea that their daughter, their student, their friend, was about to embark on a mission to save a part of the galaxy. The ship's engines hummed to life, and Zara felt the subtle shift as they prepared to enter faster-than-light travel. She took a deep breath, steadying herself for what was to come. Whatever happened, she knew that this moment represented a turning point, not just for her, but for humanity's place in the galactic community. As the stars outside the viewscreen blurred into streaks of light, Zara turned to her team. "Well," she said, managing a smile despite her nerves, "I guess this is where we find out if our crazy idea actually works." Skrik chittered in what Zara had come to recognize as laughter. "If it does not, at least we will have provided the galaxy with a most spectacular light show. Yes." The tension broken, the team shared a moment of laughter. Then, with renewed determination, they turned their attention to the task at hand. The journey to Andromeda would take several hours, even at faster-than-light speeds. They had work to do. As Zara immersed herself in last-minute calculations and system checks, she couldn't help but marvel at the strange twists of fate that had brought her to this moment. From a curious girl on Earth to a key player in a mission to save part of a galaxy, it was beyond anything she could have imagined. Yet, as she worked alongside beings from across the universe, she realized that perhaps this was exactly where she was meant to be. Humanity's journey to the stars had only just begun, and she was helping to write its first chapters. The ship raced on through the cosmic night, carrying with it the hopes of countless beings and the promise of a future where the boundaries between species faded in the face of shared challenges and triumphs. Whatever the outcome of their mission, Zara knew that the universe would never be quite the same again. Galactic Showdown. The journey to the Andromeda Galaxy was tense, filled with feverish preparations and last-minute adjustments. Zara and her team worked tirelessly, fine-tuning their nanobot swarms and running countless simulations. The enormity of what they were about to attempt weighed heavily on everyone aboard the fleet. As they neared their destination, the ship's long-range sensors began to pick up the full extent of the crisis. Holographic displays filled the command center, showing vast swaths of space distorted by swirling vortexes of dark energy. Entire star systems flickered ominously, their very fabric of space-time threatening to unravel. By the cosmic egg, breathed Skrik, his furry form bristling with alarm. "It's worse than we thought." Zara nodded grimly, her eyes fixed on the displays. The simulations they had run back at the symposium hadn't prepared her for the sheer scale of the disaster unfolding before them. Doubt crept into her mind. Could their hastily prepared plan really make a difference in the face of such cosmic forces? As if sensing her uncertainty, Professor Dylos glided to her side. "Remember, Zara," the mercurial being hummed softly, "it is not the scale of the challenge that matters, but the ingenuity of the solution. Your human perspective brought us this far. Trust in it now." Zara took a deep breath, drawing strength from her mentor's words. She turned to address the assembled team of scientists and fleet personnel. "All right, everyone. We've prepared for this. Let's show the universe what happens when we work together." With a series of crisp commands, the operation began. Ships positioned themselves strategically around the affected areas, their advanced shields barely holding against the turbulent space. Zara's fingers flew over the holographic controls, initiating the deployment sequence for the nanobot swarms. "First wave, deploy," she called out. Billions of microscopic robots streamed out from the ships, their tiny forms glittering like stardust against the backdrop of roiling dark energy. Zara held her breath as the swarm made contact with the energy field. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the edge of the dark energy vortex began to shift. The nanobots, acting on Zara's Earth-inspired algorithms, began to guide the volatile energy, much like a shepherd guiding a flock. "It's working," exclaimed Floxy, her plant-like appendages waving in excitement. "The energy dispersion is following our predicted patterns." Cheer went up through the command center, but Zara knew it was too early to celebrate. "Stay focused," she cautioned. "We're not out of the woods yet." As if to underscore her words, alarms suddenly blared across the ship. One of the vortexes had destabilized, sending a shockwave of dark energy hurtling towards a populated system. "Divert all available nanobots to intercept," Zara commanded, her voice steady despite the panic threatening to overwhelm her. "Skrik, recalibrate the swarm's adaptive algorithms. Unity, I need you to anticipate the energy's path and coordinate our ship movements." The next few hours were a blur of intense concentration and split-second decisions. Zara found herself drawing on everything she had learned, both on Earth and at the Academy. She combined scientific principles with intuitive leaps, guiding her team through one crisis after another. There were moments of triumph as they successfully diverted dark energy away from inhabited worlds. There were also heart-wrenching failures as they watched helplessly while a few outlying stations were swallowed by the voracious energy fields. Through it all, Zara's human perspective proved invaluable. When conventional approaches failed, she found inspiration in the most unlikely places: the way water flows around rocks in a stream, the patterns of migration in Earth's animals, even the strategies of ancient human warfare. "Direct the beta swarm in a pincer movement," she ordered during a particularly harrowing moment. Like the Battle of Cannae. Her alien colleagues might not have understood the historical reference, but they trusted her judgment. The maneuver worked, encircling a particularly stubborn energy vortex and guiding it safely into empty space. As the operation entered its 15th hour, Exhaustion began to take its toll. Zara's hand shook as she input commands, her vision blurring from staring at holographic displays for so long. But she pushed through, knowing that billions of lives depended on their success. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the sensors showed a significant decrease in dark energy levels across the affected regions. The vortexes were dissipating, their destructive power dispersed harmlessly into the void between galaxies. "Final readings coming in," announced the ship's eye. "Dark energy levels have returned to normal parameters in 98.7% of the affected areas. Remaining anomalies are within acceptable limits and continuing to decrease." For a moment, there was stunned silence in the command center. Then, all at once, jubilant cheers erupted. Scientists hugged one another, regardless of species differences. Some wept openly, overcome with relief and exhaustion. Zara sagged in her chair, the enormity of what they had accomplished finally hitting her. They had done it. They had saved a significant portion of the Andromeda galaxy from destruction. As the celebration continued around her, Zara felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. She looked up to see Professor Xylos, its mercurial form shimmering with what she now recognized as pride. "Well done, Zora Martinez of Earth," the professor hummed. "You have not only saved countless lives, but have also opened new frontiers of scientific understanding. Your human touch has left an indelible mark on the universe." Zara managed a tired smile. "It wasn't just me," she said. "It was all of us working together. Humans, Clesians, Floxy, Unity. We all brought something unique to the table." Xylos's form rippled in agreement. "Indeed. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson to come from this crisis, the power of diversity and collaboration in the face of cosmic challenges." As the fleet began its journey back to the Galactic Academy, news of their success spread rapidly across the universe. The quantum communications networks buzzed with reports of the averted catastrophe and the unlikely team of scientists behind the salvation. Zara found herself at the center of a whirlwind of attention. Scientists from across the galaxy clamored to learn more about her dark energy manipulation system. Diplomatic envoys expressed their gratitude on behalf of countless species. There was even talk of a Nobel Prize, not just for physics, but for peace, in recognition of the unprecedented cooperation her work had inspired. But amidst all the accolades and excitement, Zara's thoughts turned to Earth. She imagined the faces of her parents, her old teachers, her childhood friends. How could she even begin to explain what she had experienced? How could she convey the wonder she had seen, the friendship she had forged with beings beyond human imagination? As the familiar blue marble of Earth came into view on the ship's screens, Zara felt a surge of emotion. She had left her home as a student, unsure of her place in the universe. She was returning as someone who had helped shape the course of cosmic history. Yet, looking at that fragile blue sphere against the vastness of space, Zara realized that her journey was far from over. Humanity's adventure among the stars was just beginning, and she had a role to play in guiding that journey. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, Zara prepared herself for the welcome that awaited her on Earth. She knew that her experiences would change not just her life, but potentially the entire course of human history. The bridge between Earth and the galactic community had been firmly established, and Zara Martinez, the girl who had once gazed at the stars and dreamed, now stood at its center. As the fleet began its descent towards Earth, Zara squared her shoulders and smiled. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them, with curiosity, creativity, and the unique perspective that had already changed the fate of galaxies. The universe, vast and wondrous, awaited humanity's next step, and Zara was eager to help lead the way. As the fleet descended through Earth's atmosphere, a kaleidoscope of emotions swirled within Zara. The familiar blue skies of her home planet welcomed her, a stark contrast to the inky blackness of space she had grown accustomed to. The ship's sensors picked up a flurry of activity on the ground, crowds gathering, news crews setting up, and official welcoming committees assembling. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. Her alien colleagues, sensing her nervousness, offered words of encouragement. "You've faced down cosmic calamities, Zara," Xylos chirped, its bioluminescent skin pulsing with warm hues. "A few cameras and politicians should be a breeze." She chuckled, grateful for the support. As the ship touched down on the landing pad, Zora caught sight of her family in the front row of the gathering crowd. Her mother's eyes shone with tears of pride, while her father stood tall, barely containing his excitement. The sight of them grounded her, reminding her of who she was and where she came from. The ship's doors hissed open, and Zara stepped out into the bright sunlight of a new era for humanity. The roar of the crowd was deafening, a mixture of cheers, applause, and exclamations of awe as her alien colleagues emerged behind her. As she descended the ramp, Zara's mind raced with the magnitude of what lay ahead. How would she bridge the gap between Earth's current understanding and the vast knowledge she had gained? How could she prepare humanity for its new role in the galactic community? The first steps would be crucial. She would need to work with governments, scientists, and educators to gradually introduce Earth to the wonders and challenges of the broader universe. There would be fear and resistance to overcome, but also incredible opportunities for growth and collaboration. Zara reached the bottom of the ramp, where a group of world leaders waited to greet her. As she shook hands with the first of them, a thought struck her. This was merely the beginning of a new chapter, not just for her, but for all of humanity. With a confident smile, Zara began to speak, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. "People of Earth, I stand before you today, not just as a returning traveler, but as a messenger of hope and a harbinger of change. The universe is vaster, more wondrous, and more interconnected than we ever imagined. And now we have been invited to play our part in this cosmic community. The challenges ahead are great, but so are the opportunities. Together, we will forge a new path for humanity among the stars. We will learn, grow, and contribute our unique perspectives to the tapestry of galactic civilization. Today marks the dawn of a new age for Earth, an age of discovery, of cooperation, and of limitless potential. The stars have been calling to us since the dawn of our species. Now, at last, we have answered, and the universe, in all its infinite wonder, awaits." As Zara's words echoed across the gathered crowd, a new chapter in human history began to unfold. The bridge between Earth and the stars had been firmly established, and humanity stood poised on the brink of an extraordinary future. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.